Okay, Saxon 4 math students, we are ready for lesson 42, rounding numbers to estimate. So we are ready to do some mental math to warm up. And when we look at this problem, we see that if we were to truly work it out with 563 on top and 242 on the bottom, that we would have no borrowing. So this one will be an easy one to do mentally, and we'll start with the hundreds. 5 minus 2, well, that would give us 300. 6 minus 4 is in the 20s, so 320, and then 3 minus 2 is 1, 321. What is the square root of 9? And we've talked about this recently, and we know that 3 times 3 is 9, so the square root of 9 is 3. If we were to make a square with the length and the width of 3, it would have 9 squares altogether. So the root of that square, or one measurement, one side's measure, is 3. Okay, $5.75 minus $2.50. Let's do, when I look at this problem, I see there's no borrowing, so it's going to be easy to do mentally, and we can start with the dollars. $5 minus $2 is $3, right? And let's go ahead and look at 75 cents minus 50 cents. What would you have left? So altogether, you would have $3.25 left. Okay, money. Let's look at $8.98 minus 72 cents. Again, this one is one that would require no borrowing, so it's easy to do mentally. $8 minus $0, we're still going to have $8. Now let's look at the tens. 9 minus 7, that would be 2, right? And 8 minus 2 would be 6. So we have $8.26. Amelia purchased a sandwich for $4.85 and soup for $1.99. What was the total cost? This is one place where we can use our trick and just treat this as $2 and then take away a penny. So let's add $2 onto this total and then take away a penny, and you've got $6.84. Measurement. How many ounces is 1 cup? And this is one that you just need to memorize. It is 8 ounces. And so think of one of your mom's measuring cups or your grandma's measuring cups. And the one that says 1 cup, it would be about 8 ounces. All right, estimation. Choose the more reasonable estimate for the capacity of a drinking glass. So would a drinking glass be more likely to hold 1 cup or 1 gallon? So we're thinking of, your glass measuring cups for the liquid that would be up to the 1 cup mark, or 1 gallon would be like a gallon of milk. Which one's more reasonable? 1 cup. Could not fit an entire gallon of milk into 1 glass and drink the whole thing. Okay, here we go with calculation. 9 times 9, that's 81, right? Now, 81 plus 19, at first I thought, oh, let's treat this as a 20, but let's not. We've got 81, so if we've got 80 and 10 here, with just our 10s, that'd be 90, right? And 9 and 1, that's another set of 10, so that'd put us up to 100 plus 54, 154. Sometimes numbers that you have left over will go together like they did here, like the 1 and the 9, to make another set that's easy to add on. All right, let's choose an appropriate problem-solving strategy. Gennaro wanted to measure the length of his pencil, but instead of a ruler, he only had a piece of a broken yardstick. This has happened to me before. Gennaro placed the piece of yardstick alongside the pencil as shown below. How long is the pencil? Describe how you found your answer. Okay, so we can't start at 0, but we can put it at a whole number and count the whole inches. Okay, so we start here. Here would be 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches. Now we've got 3 1/4, 3 2/4, or 3 1/2, 3 3/4 inches. So his pencil is 3 3/4 inches long. Find the product. 3 times 200. So I'm going to put 200 on top times 3. These are easy to do mentally. You can skip the zeros, okay? We're going to make this an easier problem. And let's just look at 3 times 2, and we know that's what? 6. And since there were 2 zeros in our problem, we have to put 2 zeros in our answer. Now, what actually happened there was this. You have to say 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 2 is 6. But our little trick was faster, wasn't it? And we end up with the same answer. Okay. Let's look at the next one. 6 buses will be used to transport students on a field trip. Each bus has seats for 40 passengers. Altogether, how many passengers can the buses transport? Well, we could write down 40 6 times, but a faster way would be to write 40 times 6. Okay? And we could do that 6 times 0 is 0 and 6 times 4 is 24 and get our answer. Or you can think of it this way and go just a little bit faster mentally. Just leave off the 0 for right now and just do 6 times 4 and put down your 24. And you had 1 0 in your problem, so you have to tack 1 0 onto the end, just like we did up here, except we had 2 zeros in this first problem, didn't we? And this time we just had to add on 1. Okay? And that's what they're showing you also. Okay, example 3. And I've had students to ask questions about this. So this is a good one. Round 472 to the nearest 100. Okay, so I'm going to write down 472. And it said to the nearest 100. Which digit is in the hundreds place? It's the 4. We know we underline and we immediately circle the digit next to it. That number tells us what to do to this number. And our choices are, do we go up or stay the same? If it's 5 or higher in the circled number, we get to go up. So the 4 gets to go up to a 5. Everything else pops down as zeros, and our rounded number is 500 for A. But B says round the same number, 472, to the nearest 10. 472 to the nearest 10, so I underline the tens place, and I immediately circle the one right next to it. This number tells us that we can either go up or stay the same. And since it's 4 or below, you've got a 2 here, it tells us we have to keep it the same. So everything in the front stays the same. And the one we circled, everything to the right pops down as a 0. So rounded to the nearest 10, it's 470. Okay, and sometimes it's more appropriate to go ahead and round to the nearest 100, and sometimes you need your answer to be a little bit more accurate, so we round to the nearest 10. Example 4, Erica lives about 1 mile from school. A mile is 5,280 feet. Round 5,280 feet to the nearest 100 feet. 5,280 feet. And they said to the nearest 100. What's in the hundreds place? It's the 2. Now immediately circle. The 8 tells us what to do to the 2. Go up or stay the same? It should go up, okay? Now the 5, everything on the left here drops down, okay? And it stays exactly what it is because we're not rounding this one off. Okay, we're going to leave it alone. But everything to the right gets to drop down as zeros. So rounded to the nearest 100, the answer is 5,200. I'm sorry, 5,300. Thought, what did I just say? Okay, let's look at example 5. Round 362 and 385 to the nearest 100. Then add the rounded numbers. Okay. 362, 385, and it said to the nearest 100, right? So let's round this one to the nearest 100. Go up or stay the same? Go up. Okay, to the nearest 100. Should I go up or stay the same? Go up. And then it said to add the rounded numbers, right? And what do we get? 800. Example 6. To help prepare for the school play, the students in Mrs. Jacobson's class arranged 9 rows of chairs in the gymnasium. The students placed 44 chairs in each row. What is a reasonable estimate of the total number of chairs that were placed in the gymnasium? And at first I thought, okay, we can do 9 and then round off the 44 to 40 and do 9 times 40. But when I looked at what their answer was, they said we needed to round off the 9 also. And what would we round that off to? 10, right? So now we're looking at 10 times 40. And let's talk about another trick that we can do to make this an easier problem. Let's look at just the 1 times 4. What's 1 times 4? That's 4, right? And how many zeros did we have in our entire problem? We had 2, didn't we? So we have to tack on 2 to the end. Another way you could think about this, 10 times 40, is to go ahead and do just the 10 times the 4, okay, and that would be 40, right? And then tack on the other 0 that we didn't look at. I like to do it this way. This was even easier to just say, okay, 1 times 4, and then how many zeros did I have in my problem? 2, so I tack on 2 to the end. Both of those are good ways to do things mentally quickly. So let's practice doing some quick mental math. 50 times 7, let's look at 5 times 7, and you know that's 35. Tack on the 0, and you've got 350. Okay, think about this one in your head. Think about how many zeros to add on to the end. 1800. 7 times 4, tack on a 0, 280. 4 times 8 is 32, but tack on how many zeros? 2, so 3200 or 3200. Round each number to the nearest hundred. So underline the hundreds, look at the next number. That tells us to stay the same. Everything else pops down to zeros. 800 for this one. Okay, underline the 100. Look at this next number. Tells us to go up, so it's 700. Underline the hundreds. Look at the next number. Tells us what to do. Tells us to stay the same. 400. Oh, a tricky one here. Underline the 5. The 7 tells us what to do, and it should go up. So I want you to think of, okay, 25 goes up to 26, and everything else drops down to zeros. 2600. Round 297 and 412 to the nearest hundred, then add the rounded numbers. Okay, underline the hundreds, circle the 9. That tells us to go up to 300. Underline the 4, circle the 1. It tells us to stay the same, so this is 400. 300 plus 400 is 700. Okay, now this one, it's asking us to round and then subtract, okay? So underline the 100, circle the next number. It tells us the 6 should stay the same, so 600. Underline the hundreds, circle the next number. It tells us to go up to 300, so 600 minus 300 equals 300. A community marching band marches in 19 rows with 5 musicians in each row. What is a reasonable estimate of the number of musicians in the entire marching band? And explain why your estimate is reasonable. Okay, 5 is a nice number to work with. 19, we could just round that off to 20. And 5 times 20 is 100, right? Okay. And since we rounded 19 to 20, a reasonable estimate is 20 times 5, or 100 musicians. 6 months is about how many days? And we know the average month is about 30 days. So 6 times 30, 180 days. And we are finished. You need to go back and check 41 though. So let's look at written practice. Hit pause as you check 1 through 9. Hit pause as you check 10 through 18. Hit pause as you check 19 through 27. And hit pause as you check 28 through 30. And you are finished.